So what is a dashboard? Dashboard is basically collection of reports. Okay, so if you have multiple reports and you want your end user to view multiple reports on one single screen, then you will use a dashboard. Okay, collection of reports. Okay, so in case we have multiple reports and we are displaying all those reports on a single screen. Now, because I'm talking about showing multiple reports on one screen, then I cannot show that in tabular format. The way we see the data is in the form of a table, right? In a report. So the problem with tables is if you create too many tables on the same screen, it becomes difficult for the end user to understand what exactly that report uh, shows, correct? So in that case, while we're talking about dashboard, we'll have to display the reports in form of graphics or charts. Okay, so collection of reports, and these should be displayed in the form of charts. That's what we actually need. So let's go ahead and create a dashboard so that you guys understand what exactly we are referring to. One moment, let me log in. All right. So to create a dashboard, all that you have to do is you just have to go to Reports tab, and this time you'll have to click on the New Dashboard button. So just go ahead and click on New Dashboard. Okay, that will bring up the Dashboard Builder screen. Okay, so what is the Dashboard Builder screen? The screen where you build the dashboard. Now here you will see there are two things. One is data source, one is component. Okay, I told you that the reports that we are going to display here are going to be in the form of charts. So this component will allow you to get the chart for a report, okay, or the chart structure rather for the report, and the reports need to be got into the data sources. Got it? So that's how it works. So in the data sources, I can just go ahead and pick any of the reports that we have used so far. Okay, so just go and drag the report, bring it here. There are three columns. I told you multiple reports can be used here. So you will see that there are three columns. So you can bring in reports here. I don't have too many reports here to work with, so I'm just bringing the same report. You can bring in different reports in the different columns, and then go to the components and bring in the charts like this one, this one, this one. Okay, now that's the dashboard for you. Let's say this is a sales report. This is customer support report, and this is marketing report. Okay, so you can have the dashboard created this way. So it's just a matter of a few minutes to create a dashboard. All that you have to do is you should have your reports ready. So the actual hard work goes into creating the reports. That's what we did in our last session, right? And then dashboard is just, you know, a user interface where you can put multiple reports, and for every report you just have to decide on what component you want. Do you want a pie chart? Do you want this horizontal bar chart? You want a vertical bar chart? So what exactly component you want to use for that particular report, that you have to use here, and your dashboard is kind of ready. If you have more than 3 reports, you can bring in the reports in the second row also, right? See, so it's not just you can have maximum 3. You can bring in more reports here as well, right? You can have maximum of 20 reports on one dashboard. 20, right? But usually, you deal with 3, 6, that sort of thing. 20 reports. Very rare that you show 20 reports on one dashboard. Okay. So that's about the dashboard thing. Now, what do you do with the dashboard? All that you have to do is you just have to go ahead and save this dashboard, and the user should be able to see this dashboard. Alright. Saving the dashboard is pretty simple. Just go ahead and click on save. Save. So now this dashboard has been saved, and any user will be able to access this dashboard. Okay. Whoever has access to the folder will be able to access the dashboard and view it. Okay. Where does the user go to see the dashboard? To view a dashboard, the end user should go to the dashboard tab. Okay, it's very important for you to keep in mind that to create the dashboard, you need to go to the reports tab. To view the dashboard, you need to go to the dashboards tab. Go to the dashboard tab, select which dashboard you want to see. Here, you just have one. This one, let's get clear. Okay, select the dashboard, and then the end user can view the dashboard and understand, have a quick glance on multiple reports at once. Got it? Okay. So one is this option. The end user can go to the dashboard tab to view the dashboard. There's one more option. The end user can go to the home tab to view the dashboard as well. So in the home tab, there is a component which is called dashboard snapshot. In the home tab, there is a component called dashboard snapshot. In case this dashboard snapshot is not visible on the home tab, you have to just make a small setup in the setup change for the home page. Okay, by default it is not visible. You'll have to turn it on, dashboard snapshot. How will you do that? Just go to setup, customize, home, go to home page layouts. All right, so setup, customize, home page layouts. In the home page layout, click on edit and turn on the dashboard snapshot. Where do you want to see it? Let me put it at the top.
I can save and assign. Maybe. Oh,
Yep. You just have to enable the dashboard snapshot for the home page, and then your end user will get to see the dashboard snapshot on the home page as well. Alright. Now which dashboard he wants to see? That is the choice of the user. He can click on customize here and select which dashboard he wants to view there. Alright. So sometimes you have that option of displaying the dashboard on the home page also. Sometimes your team would want to see the dashboard on the home page, so it's there. If you just want to have a proper look into all the dashboards, browse through them and everything, then go to the dashboard tab. Okay, one quick snapshot can be available on the home tab itself. All right, so that's about the dashboard. Now, the next thing that we will discuss is the customization of user interface. The next thing that we have to understand is customization of UI, customization of user interface. Alright, what is this customization of user interface? Customization of UI basically refers to the page layouts. Okay, for every object, when you click on that record, you see there is a certain page layout, correct? Let's view it. Let me click on accounts. You select an account record. This is the page layout for account, right? This is the page layout for account. Now sometimes I might have a requirement to customize this as well. Why? When will I have this kind of requirement? If the user wants to view certain fields at the top. Let's say your user says that, hey, why have you put the address here at the bottom? I want to see the address at the top along with the phone number. and the website also I want at the top, right? And I don't want to see these fields, these can go down. Alright, in that case you'll have to edit the page layout for this account object. Sometimes I might have another requirement. So one requirement is you might need to change the position of the different fields on the page layout. Sometimes you also you may have the requirement to remove some of the fields from the page layout. On the fields are being displayed, you just don't want to show the SIC code on the page layout. You don't want to show the SLA on the page layout. So for this also, you will have to deal with the customization of page layout. Okay, where do we do that? Customize the page layout. All that you have to do is you just have to go to setup, then go to customize, and then go to the object for which you want to customize it. So if you want to customize it for account, you should select account here. Where is account? Here it is. If you want to do it for opportunities, then you should select opportunities here, right? So I want to customize the page layout for account. I will select account. Then I need to go to the page layouts. Correct. Now in the page layout, you see multiple page layouts. I'll talk about multiple page layouts a little later because there are multiple. I'll talk about that after some time. So let's go and click on edit for the page layout. And now you have the page layout editor. This is where you can edit the page. We are talking about billing address. You want to put the billing address here, put it. Fine. And then the phone number here, let it be. Fax here, and the website here. Count on that. So which field is required where, you can quickly put that. Okay. So once you start working on projects, your client will come up with this kind of requirements that we want this field here, we want, because sometimes it's important for my end user to view the most important fields at the top. If you are a salesperson, if you are a sales representative, you are making calls, then you should definitely get to see the phone number at the top, so that you don't have to search through the entire screen to find the phone number. That should appear at the top. Maybe the website should appear at the top, that sort of thing, right? So that should be done, and then all that you have to do is you just have to go to save and set. You just have to go and save the page. So we made the changes and saved the page. Now let's have a look into how does it look after changing the page layout. Yeah, so now my it's account name, website, billing address, phone number, fax number, annual revenue. These are at the top of the page. Alright. Now same way you can go and edit the page to remove some of the fields. Currently I can see some of the fields. Alright. So when you're creating so many fields, every time the end user does not need to view all the fields, right? So sometimes some fields are there which are required by the business, but the end user does not need to see those fields, right? So if you feel that the object has too many fields, and the end user is not that comfortable looking into that many fields for a record, you might want to go ahead and remove some of the fields. So again, same page layout, go and let's remove a few fields. How will we remove the fields? It's pretty simple. The one that you want to remove, you just have to go to that field and say remove. SIC code also I want to remove. Let's say remove. Okay, and this one let me drag and bring it here. So once you take the cursor on your field, you will get to see this remove button. You just have to go to this and you have to remove it. Now removing a field is actually not deleting the field. It's just removing it from the page layout. That's it. It's just making it, it's just hiding it, making it invisible. Field stays in the object, but it is not displayed on the page layout. That's what we're doing. If you have removed some field and you feel that no, that field was required, then you can again get the field from here. You have all the fields here. SIC code is removed. You can again drag it back and bring it here. So you want the SIC code here and you want the SIC this code here. Okay. And then once done, you should just go ahead and save. That's how simple it is. Alright. Alright. So what are we doing from the page layout? On the page layout one, you can set the order of the fields. Alright. Hide some fields. Third is you can make fields required or read only. So you also have an option of making a certain field required. Required means a mandatory field. Currently, if you go to this account page and click on edit or something, you will see that there is only one field required. Which field is required right now? Only the account name, correct? There is no other field which is required. Let's say I want to make account number also required. This field also needs to be made required. So you have an option of making this field required from the page layout. All I have to do is just go to the page layout, click on edit, and go to this particular field account number, edit, make it required, click on OK. Click on save. See, now this field has also become required. So from the page layout, you can make the fields required also. Alright. So you have the option of setting the order of the fields. You have the option of hiding some of the fields from the page layout. Okay. And you have the option of, instead of hide, let's say remove fields from page layout. And then you have the option of making the fields required or read only. Okay. So that's what we can do for the fields. Then apart from this, we can also set the order of related lists. What is a related list? A related list is the list of child records. So if you are on the account page, Now on the account page layout, if you scroll down, you will see that all the fields of accounts are displayed, and after that, the contacts, opportunity list of the contacts and the opportunities and the cases under this account are being displayed. Correct? So that these are basically the list of child records. Got it? So we have the um, list of child records or the related list option also available here. You can go ahead and make changes on that. Okay. So, like in this case, currently, contacts is a related list, opportunities is a related list, cases is a related list. All right. Now, which of the related list you want to display and you do not want to display, and the order of them. Let's say your end user wants to view contacts at the top. Sorry, cases at the top, and then opportunities and then contacts. So this thing can also be done from the page layout. So the same page layout, you just have to go click on it. See, if you scroll down here, your related lists are also being displayed. So if you want to bring the cases at the top, you should just drag and take it at the top. And if you want to display opportunities after that, so whichever you want to show, and whichever, if you don't want to show some related list, you should just go and remove that related list. Let's say I don't want to show the uh, notes and attachment related list, so I should just go and remove it. The ones that I want to show, I should just go ahead and uh, show them and drag them to adjust which one should come at the top and which one should come after that in that case. All right. So that is the thing. Clear? Now the related list also we can control the order for the related list, and we have the option of removing the related list, the ones which are not required. So you can remove the related lists from the page layout. Alright. Okay. That's about the fields and related lists. Now talking about multiple page layouts for same object. Why do you think we need multiple page layouts for one single object? Why do you think we will need multiple page layouts for one object? What can be the reason?
For different, there are so many users, right? For each user, we can assign a one page layout. I mean,
Yeah, partially correct. So there are so many users, and we will not create a page layout for each user, but if required by a group of users, I can create a separate page layout for them. All right. So for example, just think about it. You have sales team, the people working in the sales team, then you have people working in the customer support. Okay. Now for your the sales team, they might want to see the contacts at the as a related list, the first related list, contacts. Okay, because they have to deal with the customers and they have to call and contact them and stuff like that. So they might be wanting to have a look at the contact related list first. At the same time, the customer support team might be willing to have the cases first because they have to deal with the cases, right? For sales team, some of these fields are very important and they should appear at the top, others do not make sense. For my customer support team, the other fields might be important and they might not want to see the other fields, right? So for different set of users, I can have different page layouts, okay? And these set of users, how are these set of users defined? Simply by the profile. So you can have a separate page layout for each profile, not for each user, for each profile, okay, in case required. Or you can assign the same page layout to all the profiles, that's also okay. So it's not mandatory that you will have to have a page layout for each profile. You can have it if you want. If you don't want, you just want one page layout for the entire org, that's absolutely okay. All right. So when we see here, let's go to the page layouts, accounts, page layouts. So account is a standard object. By default, Salesforce has created 1, 2, 3, 4 page layouts for it. All right. And you have the option C. Here also you will see the same concept. Account sales layout. So they have created a layout for the sales team. I will look into that. What kind of layout it is. Sales layout is like this. Okay. Let's go back and see this customer support layout. See, in the customer support, these are the important things. SLA, SLA expiration date, SLA serial number. So these are the important fields. Active SLA. Alright. For the sales team, these fields were not visible. These fields were not there. The phone number, fax number, they were at the top. Correct? So that's how it is. Now, how will you assign it to the users? You assign it to the users, sorry, to the profiles. You just have to click on the page layout assignment. So here we have the option of page layout assignment. Click on page layout assignment, and after that for whichever profile you want to edit the page layout, you will be able to do that. Click on edit assignment. You have all the profiles listed and you can select. Let's say for standard user, I want to change the page layout to the support. So select the support layout here. It got updated, right? So which profile users will get to see which page layout, that is what we are selecting here. Alright, so this is how simple a page layout is. This is how a page layout works. Clear? Any doubts or questions on this? What is a page layout? You're okay with it? How a page layout is working?
Okay. Can you please show me again from when we can assign the our profile to profile?
Page layout to the profile. So when
Okay,
you
yeah,
go
assign.
to, yeah. So when you
Okay.
go to setup and then when you go to customize and then click on the object name and then go to the page layout,
Okay.
and then when you are here on the list of the
Okay.
page layouts, you have an option
Okay.
of page layout assignment.
Okay. Okay.
Click on this.
And yeah.
That's it.
And okay.
Fine. Alright. Now, that's about the page layout thing. Now, there's a simple concept that we are going to understand, and that's required field. Okay. What is a required field? Venkat, what's a required field? Venkat, you there? Venkat, you there? Yes. What is a required field? Concept about required field which we need to understand here. A field can be mandatory, can be made mandatory from at the time of creating the field, correct? While we create field, we have seen this. This is a very important concept. Just try and understand. When we create a field, we have an option of making the field required. We have seen that, correct? While creating field, you can make it required. Now today we learned another way of making a field required, which is through page layout. On page layout also, you can make a field required. That's what we have seen. Now, the concept that we have to understand is there a difference between making a field required when we create the field versus making a field required on the page layout, or are they doing the same job? Okay, and this is very important because every time you have to make a field required for any particular application, you'll have to understand this concept, and based on that you will decide whether you'll have to make the field required from the field metadata or you'll have to make it required on the page layout. The concept is pretty simple. When you are making it required on the page layout, okay, when you make it required on the page layout, the field becomes required only on that particular page layout, which means we're just talking about multiple page layouts here now. For account, there are 4 page layouts, correct? So if you make a field required on, let's say, the marketing layout, then it becomes required only for this layout. Okay, so someone who is accessing this page layout, only that person will see that field as required. People who are accessing the other page layouts will not have that field required. Got it? So if you are making a field required on the page layout, then you have a choice of making it required for some people and not required for some people. Got it? So that is the thing. But if you make a field required on the field itself while creating, this becomes universally required. Universally required means no matter which page layout you are working in, no matter how the data is getting into the system, no matter who is the person who is entering the data, this field is required for everyone, right? So making a field required while creating it makes it universally required, and making a field required on the page layout makes it partially required. That's where we are. Universally required, partially required. Partially required is where you have the control. You want to make it required for a certain profile, so go ahead and make the field required on the page layout of that profile. Only people with that profile will have to mandatorily make an entry for that field. Other profile people, for them it's not going to be a required field. Got it? The same way, this is one thing. Okay, so this is one thing that we have understood from the profile thing. And all. So if it's made required on the page layout, it is very very particular to that particular page layout. And then if the same field is being used in any other page layout, it's not required. But a field made required while creating the field, if you made a field required, it becomes universally required and it's required anywhere. There is one more small concept associated to that. We have seen that there is another way of entering the data into the database, which is import. Every time the user does not enter the data through this page layouts, right? Every time we don't enter the data into the system through page layout. Page layout is only used when someone is manually entering the data through the page layout one by one. But what if someone is entering data from the data loader backend, right? So in case of data loader, this is required for backend data upload also. Okay, required for backend data upload also, and this one is not required for backend data upload, which means if you have made a field required on the page layout, okay, and you are trying to upload the data from the backend, then this required field will not have any effect because you are not entering the data through that page layout. Got it? But if there is a universally required field, that will have an effect on the backend data upload as well. No matter from where you are entering the data from the data loader or whatever, you will have to enter the data for that field. Alright, otherwise it will not create the record. It will throw you an error that the required field is missing. Correct? So whenever you have a requirement to make a required field or a mandatory field, you will have to understand that what kind of a required field you need. So you should be asking the client or whoever is your end user, you should be asking him that do you want the field to be required every time by everyone, or you just want the field to be required by certain group of user and not required by some users? That's question number one. Second is you should also ask that do you want the field to be required for the bulk uploads also or bulk updates, or you want the field to be required only for single records and not for the bulk update. Got it? And the moment you have the answer to these two questions, you will be able to decide whether you have to make the field required from the page layout or from the what is that, at the time of creating the field. Correct. So when we do the data model, as we saw earlier, when you do the data model, there itself you write that this field is required and all that stuff. But when you're writing that part, there itself you have to mention that okay fine, for this I'm going to make it required from the field itself, and for this particular field I'm going to make it required on the page layout. So you have to decide based on these conditions. All right, clear on this required field concept? Simple concept. Sometimes um, in your interviews and all you will have this question. Okay, if you just want to make a certain field required for only one profile, what will you do? So this concept is important.